February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky.
Emma didn't come back.
Allow me to call the next witness to the stand.
Emma didn't come back.
The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it.
Oh, I know. You're a patrolman.
As for my name, if you listen to hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor.
Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before.
Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner.
What do you mean?
A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper can sum it up.
Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime in plain old English.
My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They say I was supposed to make the rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail.
Can't say I particularly care for you.
I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, 2 security systems?
I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those.
Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers?
Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those?
He's not being very helpful.
He is not that good with machines, or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright. It's all yours.
How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room?
That's what he calls the evidence room. I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings.
You interred them?
Videos of nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life.
This guy has a flair for the dramatic. But it isn't going to do him any good. So, in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right?
Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that it ain't my style.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
No desperado I know lets rules get in his way.
No desperados I know join the police force.
So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime,
Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day.
there was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. You know anything about that?
Sorry, partner, can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks.
How does this guy avoid being fired? You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct?
Of course, back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence.
And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism.
Sorry, partner, I ain't no good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how the bike works.
That's quite incredible.
The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence.
Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too.
At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us more about what you were doing when the crime took place?
If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon when it went down.
Is there any evidence he wasn't there?
It was
wait.
like a fingerprint of his, but you don't remember where.
Wasn't that the handprint? Wasn't that the one you had to find the other finger or something?
Yeah. I don't know. I'll just press him.
What were you doing in a place like that?
I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel steak lunches can beat that parlor's vongole sepia pasta.
Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat noodles?
Not all desperados eat tacos, partner.
That's not what I meant. I hope you at least, or well, I hope this at least, taught you a lesson.
That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, "Did you not want a raise this year?" Out of ammo, Officer Marshall.
That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence. If you're planning to pin me to this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset.
One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for the guarding of the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have anything been visible to him.
Texans don't take orders from anybody. Everyone knows that.
Apparently, your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante.
Just, what do I do?
Should I present a screwdriver?
I doubt it. Well, I don't know what there could be.
Maybe I'm supposed to read this. The honest guy told me I should, so. Neil Marshall. I think that was helpful. I present this. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime.
And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner.
It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint.
Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, I make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there.
I wonder if he stabbed himself with the cactus and that's how he got the blood. The handprints just from the cactus. That's my theory. Just found blood on the cactus, remember?
Yeah.
Does that help your client?
I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood.
Witness! What is the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene.
The blood was wiped away, however. A luminal testing clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall?
It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders.
Huh?
I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the blood-stained fingerprints.
Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints. found at the scene of the crime.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as that blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it.
The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt.
Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
I agree. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it.
Why does he say he's wearing gloves? And there's something that disproves that? Guess not.
Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence.
Why do you do this to me, Phoenix? All the time.
Really? I thought it did.
Objection overruled. Think, Mr. Wright.
Whoops, that didn't go so well.
Is there anything else that disproves that?
That's because you, how did you put it, pay your respects once a month?
Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine.
What? What do you mean?
I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams.
I see.
It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker.
Apparently, his fingerprint data was never removed from the locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without ever knowing it.
Are you starting to get the picture, partner?
The picture?
This seal of blood. In the desert, it's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this.
The security tape.
So long as my trail isn't in there, can't say otherwise.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you are going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall.
Shouldn't do it. What do you mean by that?
You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have.
But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots.
Blind spots?
Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape.
We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Well, Mr. Wright, can you show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, do so now. At the end, there's something hanging out of his locker.
Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall.
Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake.
Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us the incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall.
We get to hear it again.
At the end, though.
Whoops, that's not it. There, the blue badger! The blue badger prison! The blue badger! The blue badger! The blue badger!
Please allow me to apologize for my colleague, Your Honor. He gets carried away sometimes.
Yes, well, this certainly isn't a first.
Will you forgive him too, Officer Marshall?
Press the wrong button.
He's not a bad man, just a bit disillusioned. Of course, I'm not one to gun down unarmed boys.
Oh, great. Now Edgeworth is defending me. Guess that means I missed the mark.
Very well, let's get back to the cross-examination.
To press it all again.
Maybe I should.
You already. This is the very first one.
Why'd you do that in the weirdest way possible?
Oh, that's not what I meant. So that's what you meant by the very first one.
Don't hit the top button this time.
Yeah, I was trying to hit rewind.
But you don't need to rewind. Just go to the end of the video.
Okay, it isn't there. Still isn't. Nothing's outside of that locker or whatever. Oh yeah, just you were right.
Finding the tune. One out of it.
Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake. I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall.
Days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less?
Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video.
Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner.
The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video.
That locker with the white cloth sticking out, that was the witnesses, I believe.
Now, then, let's rewind the video a bit.
Capcom invested a bunch of money into this cutscene, so they're gonna make you watch it as many times as possible.
Oh, the white cloth, it's gone. What is the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away.
Order! Order!
Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine.
Oh.
Well, why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man?
This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker.
Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker? Now prove it. Fingerprint sensor.
We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to.
Well, what kind of crazy talk is this?
Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this.
In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks.
So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less?
I only got one word for you, partner. No!
Order! 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 Witness, explain yourself.
This is a joke. It's the worst one I've ever heard.
I assure you, this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime.
Olay! Please answer the question.
What is he now, a bullfighter? That's all right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure out the rest from here.
We can.
Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer.
That's right. The only possible conclusion.
Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
Here. Or here. I'm not sure which.
That's just be Meekins, isn't it?
Wait, is this Meekins or is this Meekins? I can't tell. He was in 2 different places in the video.
I'm assuming that's...
They're calling Meekins the killer.
Yeah, Meekins the killer.
Oh, yeah. So would this be Marshall?
Or Marshall's at his locker.
Officer Marshall was standing right here!
There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in this video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman.
But that's preposterous! Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure.
May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted.
When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his cards, sir. It's really tough doing this many voices this close together.
Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond?
He suddenly pulled a knife on me.
Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say, Officer Marshall?
You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it.
You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim.
I can't say I particularly care for you and your uncooperative disposition.
I can't say I care for you and your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim?
Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that.
I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't make the dessert heat. I'm just rolling with it.
Can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do?
It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics.
The basics? Me, that would be what Mia would tell me.
Phoenix, try thinking outside the box.
I shouldn't look for the proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. Rather, I should look for the evidence that came about because he was in disguise. What? I don't even understand.
Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yes, he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later, as it has been.
Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. And after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot.
Very well, let's take another look at the security tape.
What do I do?
I really like watching that guy get stabbed.
Can I see the ID badge? I don't know if this is what the game wants me to do or not. Oh.
I don't know what you're thinking it wants you to do. Please show us why the witness had to open the locker.
Oh, I don't know. Why would he have to open this locker? I don't know.
Maybe you should just watch the video.
Or maybe it's the glove, I don't know.
No, don't present anything.
Why not glove?
Watch the video in full.
Why?
Because you only have like one life.
Yes, 2 lives.
I have 2 eyes, actually.
Still, watch the whole thing. See if you can see a little better what's hanging out of it. I just can't see. Maybe the
It
coat,
doesn't look like it.
because there was blood on the coat.
I guess it's your right.
There's blood on
Oh,
it.
yeah. There is blood on the guy.
Maybe the whole coat can fit in there.
But it's not here.
Probably. That's what it is.
For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman. You entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end yet.
Yet.
However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat?
You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker.
Not mad, partner.